Okay, welcome to this new tutorial on Java. So last time we were doing different kind of conditional statements for Java. We did if statement, we did the while loop, we did the for loop, and the next we want to do is switch statement. So let's see why we need a switch statement. Sometimes we have situations where you have multiple conditions, like you go from based upon a value you want to make multiple paths. It could go in one direction, it could go in another direction, could go another direction. So if you want, you can do the same problem solving with the if statement. You can say if value greater than 100, then you do this. As if value less than 50, then you do this. You can say again, else if value less than 10, so you do this. So as you can see, there are like multiple if statements here. Basically, you're trying to test one condition, then go to test another one, then test another one. And what happens, if statement is really good for if you have like two choices: do if this condition, then do this, otherwise go to this path, or you have maybe three conditions at the most actually. But if you have to go from one choice, you have to multiple paths, then in those kind of situations, what you need is really you need a switch statement. So let me just quickly open something here. So let's say you are at this point, you have some value here, like x is equal to it could be a value between, let's say, 1 and 100, and you want to go in different paths from this location. If your value is 1, you want to go this path. If it's 2, you want to go this path. If 3 is this path. If 4, you want to go this path, like this. So you have multiple paths from one, starting from this point onwards. So in this type of situations, what you want to really do is you want to do a switch statement. Let's say you have some variable. Let's say you want to say age equal to 10, and you want to test, you want to say switch age, and you want to say case, let's say your age is 10, then you want to do something, and let's put, we're just taking this example of age is 10, and after that you want to say break. And let's say I'm just going to copy it here. So let's say 1, let me copy a little bit more, so I want to just do a few cases here. So I say age is 10, then I say 20, then they say 30, then they say 40, and 10, 30, 40, and you can have another case here which is just a default, and age is not 10 or 20 or 30 or 40. And let's see, so what we did is we defined a variable age 10, and let's assume that this variable can take different kind of values. So what we do is we do switch on the age, and if the value of age is 10, then the code is going to execute this statement. And after that, it's very important that you put a break statement here, because if you don't put a break statement, it will go into the next case statement, and you will make a test on this one. So when you say break, and as we have seen previously, when you do a break inside a loop, so this is the loop, you see this is the curly braces, starts here, it ends here. When you say break, it comes out of this loop and it go to the next statement, which is really, let's say this is system.out out of switch statement. Okay, so the switch statement, if you have 10, then it goes here. If it's 20, then it goes this here. But if this is a default case here. If none of these values match, it will end up here actually and print this one. So let's see. So we have age of 10, and we know they should print this one, and after that it should maybe print this out of switch statement. Let's run this program. Yeah, age is 10 out of switch statement. Now let's change it to, let's say, 20. Age is 20, and now it came out of the switch statement. Let's say we want to make it, let's say, 44, and you know the 44 is not 10, it's not 20, 30 or 40, so it doesn't match any one of them. So what it will do, it will go into the default and it should print this one actually. Yep, age is not 10, 20, 30 or 40, and so you understand this. So this is switch statement you use when you have multiple paths and you don't want to really put if else kind of statements. So that's all about this switch statement. And next thing we want to talk about is Java arrays. So let's see. So Java arrays are really, they're available out of they're part of the course Java actually. So what's array? So array is really a list of values. Let's say you want to store numbers. You want to store, let's say, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. You want to store all these numbers. I mean, these are all integers, so you can always say, like, we talked about these different primitive types. So you can say int a1 is equal to 10. You can say int a2 is equal to 20. Int a3 is equal to 30, and so on. But you want to keep declaring variable for each one of these values. They are all similar type, they are all integers. So instead of that, what you can do is you can just say int, which is a type, and this is the symbol for array. And you can say, let's say these are age of people. So let's say age of people, and you can say, so I'm just putting number here, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So what we are really doing is we are declaring a variable age, which is an array, so and of type integers. So this age is a variable of type int, and this is an array. By putting this square brackets, it makes this an array, and it means all these elements within this array. So I'm just trying to initialize here. So all these elements within the array are of same type. It means they are integers, or you can also declare an array which is of type, let's say, string. And the string is like whatever you want to store in the string. So you can say here, like, I'm saying cars, Honda, Toyota, BMW, let's say Ford. So as you can see, I have declared another array, but this time is of type strings because the values of this array are strings. And I name this array as cars. So these all values are of same type. So let me just quickly show you some examples here. So this is the example I just put. This is an array. You see this one, Honda, Toyota, Ford, BMW. All these values are stored in an array, and each of these values, if you want to read a value, you have to read using an index. So first values are at location 0, the second value is at location 1, 2, and 3. You can see the length of this array is 4 because it has 4 elements. So I have another array here. It has values from 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So it has 6 elements. So the length of this array is 6. But as you can see, the index of the array starts from the 0. So if you want to access this 10, you have to say is at index 0. If you go to the next value, is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that one. So let's do some operations on array. Let's say, so one thing you can do with the arrays is you can find their size. size of cars equal to, so you have this array called cars, and you can say just length, and this one here, let's run it. Yeah, length of car is 4 because we have 4 cars here. Let's say you want to find what's the second car, so let's say we call it like second car is. So if you want to access the second car, you say cars, which is name of the array, and then you put the square brackets, and you know second car mean it is index 1 actually, because this is the first car, this is the second car, but you know the first car the index is 0, the second car the index is 1. So in this case it should return us Toyota. See, second car is Toyota, so you can access this thing. And one of the things you have to keep in mind is once you declare an array, so in this case this array of size 5, you cannot change the size of this array. Once it's declared, is fixed, and computer allocates fixed size of this memory, and this size of array in the memory actually, and it's, all those locations are fixed actually. You cannot change the size of this one. And let's say what I want to do is I want to change the location of first car. I want to update it. I want to, instead of Toyota, because we know that Toyota is at the second location, which is really index 1, I want to call it, let's say Tesla. And if you do here, let's say I'm going to print it again, what will happen? I just modified this array. I changed the value of Toyota, I replaced with the Tesla. So now I want to just call it, let's say now second car is, see, now the second car is Tesla. So we just able to change it. You can also iterate through this array. So what you do is, this is similar like a for loop. You start with the index 0 and you keep going up to the length of the array, and you increment it by 1, and here you can just print like this. Let's say car equal to, and as I mentioned, if you have two cars and you just put the index I here because that's the index of the thing. So you're just trying to loop through all the cars here. So let's see, you see car equal to Honda, Tesla, BMW, Ford. So this is one way of looping. There's another way of looping through the cars is, there's another for loop you can do. String car cars. So this is another way of doing looping through this one. And but in this case what you're doing is, let's say, well, okay, I didn't copy it properly. Car. So again, let's run it. So what I did is, this is another for loop, you know, this, the syntax is like this. So you know the car is an array of things. So what you're trying to do is, you're saying string car is a variable, so as long as this variable is in the cars, it tries to loop through them actually. That's what it does. This is a kind of very compact form of for loop. It iterates through all the elements in this cars, which is our cars variable, and this is our own declared variable, and we're just trying to print this whole declared variable here actually. So that way it can just print all the cars. That's the way to just loop through them actually. So you know the arrays are very fast because they are in memory. The array has to be, all the elements in an array are of the same type. That's another thing you have to keep. You can find the length of the array, you can access any element of the array. The only thing you have to do is array name, and you have to put this square bracket, and you have to put this index of that particular element. If you want to modify an element of the array, you just do cars and that element index and just assign this new value actually. Here's what happened. Let's say you have cars, and we know the cars is of length 4, which is mean the maximum index is 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. What happens if I try to put something at location 4? I'm trying to put another car here, okay? What will happen? Because we don't have location 4 in this cars, it will say out of range or out of index array will show up for this one. See, index 4 out of bounds for length 4, because we have an array of length 4 and we are trying to put an element at fourth position, which is really a fifth element. But as I mentioned, arrays have a fixed size, which is declared when you declare the array. The size is fixed, so you can't really go out of those. Within that you have to stay within that range. Otherwise, it will say the array index out of bound exception. So that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll go with the next video in few days. Thank you for watching.